I really want to know how everybody felt about getting to be part of such a cool queer experience like these girls do each week. I'm just trying to just say we also had some cool panels at FlameCon that we were so glad so many people came out for.
You know, it's always funny. When we do panels, the first thing I inevitably think of is the season 10 panel challenge. The DragCon panel challenge where we got proportionizing and Blair and Cracker doing wigs, and it's always so funny to me because we all have such a natural banter together because we all just sit around and talk anyway. But then there's also the stage aspect of it when we get on to a panel, and we had such great panels and such a good time talking. And I just always think about how that is a magic that you really can't force. And I noticed that they really don't do as many of those types of challenges anymore. We did get like the slideshow challenge, but even that, like the props help and the standing helps. And there's a lot of ways that you can kind of fake a TED Talk, but you can't really fake the kind of like panel discussion that it really takes a while to cultivate with your peers.
And so I just want to apologize. I was like desperately trying to vamp because for whatever reason, technical difficulties, and we were not live on YouTube at first. So just for all of our YouTube viewers that are tuning in now, hey everybody, X's for show, catching up, talking a little bit of FlameCon, having a nice little cocktail hour with all y'all, covering everything we did this weekend and taking a look at some Drag Race All-Stars, global style, and Canada versus the world. And so now that we're up and running, I want to dive into this global all-stars situation. The girls, they are global. The stars, they're have all talents. Yeah. They are all. I don't even know. So first of all, I do want to say I did not love either talent show as much as I wanted to. No. But I am glad that one thing we got is finding out that Saphira Crystal is a Queen Kong stan, because it turns out greatness stands greatness.
Yes, although I just to dive right into shadiness, I was surprised to read that tweet. I was not so gagged that I would have expected. I mean, and it just, it could be a friend tweeting in support of a friend, I guess. But I was a little underwhelmed by Queen Kong's talent show performance, only because I just expected a higher level of expression of talent rather than just doing a number. The girls that I know are great, I really would like to see them not just do a number. And I believe Queen Kong is really one of the great ones and can do more than just that. So I was a little bit just like, I mean, there was nothing wrong with it, but it's just like Alyssa's getting the same critique from me. So, it's all over the place.
To be the positive one.
Yeah, do it.
Very much enjoyed this talent show. I do think maybe two slight issues. The first being, I think a lot of us had this expectation of it's a global all-stars. These are the best from our world. This is truly, not joking, the actual drag Olympics, where each country has sent their best representative and who's going to win the crown. But I do think people might have expected an all-winners level when this is a global version of an all-stars. Yeah. And I think we needed to temper our expectations just slightly to remember, like, these are all-stars, yes, but they're not, nobody here won. They're not winners. One of them will be by the end of this, and that's amazing. But I think our caliber of what we wanted and what we expected, I think might have been maybe misjudged based off the way that they promoted it. And I want to phrase it that way. I think all these girls are lovely and talented. My only other problem really was I see this in time and time again with every talent show, at least the ones that RuPaul judges. I can't speak for every single foreign season, but it does feel like they value funny original bitch track number 5 as opposed to showcasing of skills. People like Garavaro or Miranda Lebrau really kind of did these kind of death-defying stunts, actually dying for the art. And I just felt a little bit weird about either one of them not really being in the top. Not that anybody did bad. I actually don't think anybody did horrendously bad. But I think there's the same rewarding system that we get all the time on a US season. And I kind of wanted to see that formula shaken up just a bit, especially with all this fresh perspective that a lot of these queens are going to get. Because I imagine this is, for many Americans, and I'm only speaking as American point of view, the first time that we're seeing a lot of these foreign queens.
It's true. And I think it's particularly difficult because we just watched the All Stars 9 talent show. So having these so back to back so quickly, especially if you're not watching Canada versus the world, it becomes something where you're suddenly very aware, like everyone's doing a number. You know, they're always good. There's unevenness. There's an expectation for Global All Stars to be at the level that All Stars 9 was, because even with All Stars 9 being not even like people who were super high up, it sort of felt like an all winner situation. Like these were very big fan favorites for All Stars 9. And so to have this come right after it, kind of, at least from the American perspective, I think was the talents were good. The way that it was set up was kind of not. And I think putting Alyssa and Queen Kong over some of those like actual talents that are not just seeped in drag was a mistake for me personally. Kevin, what do you think?
I think we got you muted, Kevo.
I am muted, that's why. I'm still recovering from Concrete, so I'm probably going to be a little more quiet this week. You know, I feel like the anticipation didn't match the premiere, which is unfortunate. A lot of really talented girls, but, you know, like we've been saying, we've been talking about this since last August. Mm-hmm. Joking about, oh, that's a Global All Stars. So, like, even that, there's been so much anticipation, and I don't know. Maybe that's not entirely their fault, but
so yeah.
How did you guys feel about the fact that it was broken into 2 episodes?
I guess
at the very least they dropped at the same time. Mm-hmm. I know there have been season shows in years where it's broken into 2 episodes and we have to wait a whole week. I think they did that at the beginning of 16 or something. Am I wrong? And we were like, this was a bad idea. So at the very least, they took the advice of it's not a good idea to split them with so much time. Do you think it would have been better if it had been one super episode?
I kind of do. I probably would have done like an extra long episode and just gotten it all done in one. I mean, I know we're kind of extending the season. I know we got a little more time to feature. I don't think it added anything to the talent show portion of it. I don't think it added extra length for the talent show times. I know we got to see 2 lip syncs for the win, but other than that, there wasn't enough fanfare and enough of any kind of fanfare using the extra time to really justify it for me. We've seen a few talent shows where they kind of just like go right into it and they're like, just show us who you are. It's time to go. Like I think about the season 15 talent show. Like it really was like, let's just start and go right into it. And just get to know the girls through them showing their talent. And it seemed like we spent kind of a lot of time faffing around with who are you, but it actually didn't get us anywhere. It was just kind of like a desert island question and then a split talent show. And for me, it just kind of cut up the energy a little bit.
I like that we got to see more of the queens interacting when you don't have a mini challenge or you get all of this, like there's only 6 of the acts as opposed to 12 of them all at once.
Yeah.
I think we got a lot more interactions amongst them, and a little more story for those of us who don't know many of them. We started to understand like who's friends with who, you know, who's overconfident, who's like shocked that they're in the same room as Alyssa Edwards, all those good things.
You know, and one of the things that kind of drives me a little bit crazy about these expanded intros, it's sort of like I said in the description, there's so many girls that are not like part of the American oeuvre of Drag Race. So like so many of these girls are new to Rue. And when you're talking about girls that are new to Rue, it is essentially a new season. It is essentially, they are proving their credentials like queens from like home proving their credentials. This is no different than a standard first episode of a season in a lot of ways, though remembering that it's global, it's escalated. So like I keep making the joke that this is happening at the Olympics because of like on purposeness, and obviously we know that RuPaul can't get her wig to match her shoes. I'm kidding. She's not in charge of those things, so they always match. But you know, obviously there's a lot of kind of like lining up with what's going on with the Olympics here. And so nobody says to the Olympians, okay, but tell me how many high school field meets you've performed in. You do the qualifiers. And it's sort of like, this is the Olympics for drag, and the qualifiers were the many worldwide seasons of Drag Race. But like, part of what that does mean these girls come with, though, is a scorecard. And what does it mean? Because like, look, I mean, don't get me wrong. I definitely have all of my baggage from high school, you know, and some of it I'm going to be trading up for much more expensive luggage in the near future. I'm just saying, but it's going to be great. But the thing about it is like you come with that, you bring that from home, and when you get to college, the first thing you say when you meet everybody is, "Oh no, I was never a nerd, and I had sex with absolutely everybody's hot dad." And like, that's how you introduce yourself to people when you get to college. Don't look at me like that. I remember what it was like. I guess
some people do that.
Yeah, we all exactly. Say hi to your dad for me. And so like, this whole thing to say like, these girls though did not get that college reset. Every one of these girls is coming with World of Wonder, with their yearbook, with their weird fucking face. And so like, I think about what it means, because the other thing is, TK, you had the cuttingest thing to say. Like, I mean, I'm still lacerated from when you said realistically, and it has nothing to do with our opinion, and it has everything to do with RuPaul won't talk to you if you don't speak English. So,
oh like, yeah, these are the best that can speak English.
That is really the end result here. We're talking about like such a specifically cultured and cultivated selection of incredible top quality girls. There's nothing about the girls that is not top quality, nor is there anything about the process, but it definitely affects how I think about the season in a lot of ways.
And, you know, Jonah really, I appreciated, said it right off the bat, and it's something I don't forgive Drag Race for enough. What All Stars means to Drag Race is not what All Stars means to other shows. And it's a nebulous term. It does not have a Webster's dictionary definition. Mm-hmm. For a lot of shows, All Stars means you were at the very top and are now coming to see if, while playing against other people who were at the very top, you all, like you, the best of the best who might not have made it, can actually now take the crown this time or do whatever. With Drag Race, it is people who Rue wants to see more from. Serena Chacha simply did not do well her season and is not somebody who anybody was like, oh, she was so close to making it, but she just missed it, so she needs to come back. Where Alyssa kind of was that type of girl who people were like, we saw a lot. She's a pageant girl. She's already really talented. She didn't make it like super far, but she really was somebody who people thought could be a contender. So when she was back for All Stars 2, it made a ton of sense. At the same time, like there are just other people who we have just done it differently with Drag Race. We have brought in a lot of people who were not at the top of their game when they were there the first time. And what it has meant is, you know, Rue wants to see more from you. Ultimately, I think it does come down to factors like scheduling, like can RuPaul speak to you, and that's okay. But
Will you match Michelle Visage's wig collection?
And you know what? Some people blow our minds by the fact that, yeah, they can do all of those things. They can show up, they can match the wig selection, they can speak to RuPaul, and their drag has improved in the last whatever how many years. And so that's that. It's not fair of me to come to this and go, okay, but this isn't all winners. This isn't everybody who is the absolute best. Now I'm disappointed. It is a group of people with talent that are coming to show their talent, and we'll see where we get from there.
Yeah. I also want to add, I'm not sure what happened the first episode, but the sound quality for a couple of these girls' numbers was really off, and it really, like, I would have been very pissed if that was my best showcase, and that's how I sounded when I know that they should and could sound better. It was really, I don't know, like, treat this girl better. What are you doing?
And I want to just add into that, because like something that like a lot of us don't always think about is the fact that we only like things sometimes because they're really polished. You will not believe how much you will like a horrible song because the production is slick as shit. And how often you'll hate a great song because it was produced like it sounds like it would be on this.
I was just listening to that new Addison Rae track, and I was like, no, this actually is not a good song. It's just very well produced.
And that's part of what like kind of gets me down sometimes, where we wind up in these situations where like, honestly, I do not agree with the general sentiment from a few of the people on this panel that the Rusical was just fine. I thought on a very technical level, the songs were very upsetting. Like, on a technical level, I was upset by their form, their structure, their purpose. And it's a really bigger picture idea to consider. But when I heard those songs, I thought to myself, they sound so good, but they're not for me. To me, they are bad. And like, the fact that they sound so good gets us through it. How many of these girls are actually maybe in realistically the same makeup every time, but because they do it in different colors and different accent forms, but it's essentially the same performance, like we would ding any songwriter for writing the same song a bunch of times. How much is the quality that they do it, elevating it beyond that, oh, it's the same, just because the quality is so good? This episode had nothing going for it. The girls all did admirable B jobs. And not blowjobs, because if the girl, I mean, I'm sure every one of these girls I don't think Alyssa Edwards gives an admirable blowjob, but I think the rest of them do.
Baby, let me tell you something.
And that I think
I'm
she
here with that foolishness.
Would she do that the entire time? I'm gonna on it for you.
Just pointing at it
the whole time.
Maybe that's somebody's kink.
Woody Woodpeckers. So. General, nothing went right for this. This was the gang that couldn't shoot straight.
And I think, I don't know, both Queen Kong and Alyssa, these were fun. These were great. These were not bad performances. But to me, I think a talent show, you have to show. I mean, I was really disappointed in Alyssa because she is such an incredible dancer. Like, that is the thing she is known for. She is the Abby Lee Miller of drag. She can choreograph anything. She can dance anything. It's not just choreography, because Abby Lee Miller can't really dance. Alyssa can dance. She could have just danced. She has just danced in the past. And the number was not technically complicated. I didn't think it was really the like label description says original number / comedy. I didn't really think it was that funny. I thought the Flashdance moment was a great capstone, and it would have been great if she'd done like some excellent Flashdance dancing, and like, you know, she had given us something. But I have seen, this is probably in my memory, live performances, Drag Race, everything else, the least complicated dance I have seen Alyssa do that is essentially her own choosing. And I just wouldn't have rewarded that. I know we got the mirror moment to Alyssa versus Tatiana, where it's a Rihanna song and they both stay. And I know Drag Race loves to do that rhyming with its contestants and its moments. But because we had girls who showed up with talents, as in I learned how to do this thing, I practiced it until I made it into a performance, and then I gave you that performance. I just think 2 of those girls should have won, and not 2 girls who did awesome original numbers but didn't really show me I cultivated this thing called a talent.
Perfect. I was like, I don't want to cut her off. She got something. I want her to go.
I will say, to defend Alyssa, hearing her constantly saying, I heard what the judges were telling me, I have evolved based on that. This was very specifically exactly what the judges have always wanted from Alyssa. Something very goofy, very stupid, very pretty, very tightly put together. You cannot say that it was sloppy at all.
Yep.
And that's what they want from her. They like the dance. They're like, that's nice, sweetheart. You look beautiful. But they love the comedy. And the other half of it is that I, as someone who has watched her friends do pole performances in an athletic performing arena, like,
all right, still thank you.
The level of difficulty that this was more than just that one drop towards the end or the one hang. Like this was when Shea Coulee came in and was like, I'm doing pole for my talent because I've been working on it, and then did some very beginner moves very nicely. This was quite advanced. They would have done a great job out on the competitive circuit. So I was very upset that both this and the trapeze act did not go further.
Those were really 2 that were top of my mind. I also just thought Pythia's was so high concept and advanced and hilarious. Again, that's such a talent to put that whole thing together, including the comedy. But Tori, your point is really important, because I don't want to say that what I'm saying is Alyssa is not talented. You are 100% right.
I'm sorry, but because Alyssa is very talented, but I've seen Alyssa Edwards perform Waiting for Godot, and that was like watching Alyssa Edwards do a one-woman show of an episode of Coach.
But my point is I'm yelling at production again. I'm blaming production, because I think Alyssa did exactly what she was asked to do. I think of everybody, she checked the boxes that they asked her to check before she showed up. I'm angry at them for saying that those should be the boxes, and that the standard of production and judging isn't that somebody like Pythia wouldn't win, that somebody like Gala wouldn't win, that these people that showed up really, I mean, like the person that who made it to the top and I was so stoked about was Eva La Queen. And honestly, I mean, Vanity Vane was amazing. I just thought that there were other people whose like talent impressed me more. So I didn't think the song was like, and it was like hugely inspiring, but Eva La Queen was like, for me, top of the pack. And I was so happy that she was also in the top. It was just like, that was a moment that I felt like, okay, I'm not crazy. Like, here's a person amazingly talented. I'm having a good time. I want to see this win. Where everybody else, I was kind of like, this wasn't bad, but I can't believe we're forgetting all these other girls for these 2 to go to the top, or for this one to go to the top.
I can't believe Eva La Queen destroyed Slade with her swords that she's so into right now. A Mega Charizard X on RuPaul's Drag Race. Nintendo's gonna come after them and her. And I to be fair, it is the most you can probably get away with likeness without it actually, but still being like plausible deniability.
It's Snatch Game.
But they don't do copywritten characters on Snatch Game.
Well, and this was not really technically exactly. It was dyed funny. That's all you need.
It had purple scales. I saw the scales and they were purple.
The scales of justice came out on their side this time.
It's just very funny that we got a Pokemon reference, and I don't think RuPaul knew. Michelle might know. Michelle, yeah. I think Michelle knows. And she probably like leaned over to Rue and she's like, "That's a Pokemon." Like, oh, I love Pokemon.
So I want to poke them on for a second. I make a lot of comments
one
here.
Of those new ones.
No, it's Charizard, my love. It's.
I didn't see an orange dragon out there.
It's Mega Charizard X.
We don't have yes. We don't have time to
Okay,
get
so
into-
it's a new
Okay,
one.
this is
It's a
now a
new one.
Pokemon lore show. Forget Drag Race.
This is what I've been waiting for.
Not out of her wheelhouse.
Listen, Kevo, you could not have said a better word. Wheelhouse.
Wheelhouse?
Wheelhouse. Because I'm like sitting here being like, listen, those vocals not great, or like Gottmik playing guitar was like a baby throwing things at a guitar. I'm kidding. She was obviously really nervous, and I bet if he was playing, it would have been awesome. Like, the character clearly was not playing guitar well in the moment, but I bet Gottmik actually is a phenomenal guitar player. But like, if they had a goat herder come on, I would have to be like, I don't know, somebody get Gwen Stefani. I can't judge goat herding. But like, I don't really know, and like I know clownish storytelling. So Pythia, like literally, that is something I've been part of. I performed in. I've studied. I know what Pythia was doing, and it moved me. But I don't know a lot about trapeze or pole, and so like, I mean, and you know, hearing Tori, you speak to the advancedness of the pole. I just really wonder, like, what would Pink think of the trapeze work?
Well, you know, bad seed on this earth.
Bad seed on this earth, Pink is. But like,
But we love Pink.
We love Pink.
Pink.
That's why I want to know what she, as a trapeze expert, I've decided. Where's Dick Grayson's parents? I mean,
Dead.
What? Dead. So that was the sharpest shit, Tori. So that was cutting like TK's words earlier. But I actually am kind of fascinated. Is sometimes the reason that Rue, Michelle, and co don't give a high score to one of those a little bit more outside of the park talents because they feel that they don't exactly know how to rate it. Like, they would just be like, that was good. Give it to the dancer.
This is why we didn't have the Tony Awards for sound for a while. Like, you can't tell me that, I'm sorry, if you're going to judge a show, you have to put yourself into the understanding of what it is. You know, I'm told all the time that RuPaul takes breaks to rewatch things so that she knows all the stuff. You can pull up your phone, you can look on YouTube and be like, hot, sexy trapeze artist in my area. You know, like,
Tori,
and
you are
find
a
out what looks
one-of-a-kind
good. How hard is it to become an expert?
Tori,
in under
I
10
could not
minutes?
agree more. You are 100% correct. It's just, there's so much of this with production where I'm like, what standards are we setting here? What do we actually want to see? I really do feel like we keep running into these things where I get why maybe it seems like it makes sense. Maybe it's easier to conceive of as you're writing and producing the show and prepping to do this stuff. But I just think we end up missing out, like, this gigantic whale of talent passes by us and we're all looking on the other side of the boat for no reason.
So you feel that there aren't enough Ahabs on this ship?
Arr.
You know, people looking for whales.
No, they
Yeah,
need more
I got it.
Starbucks to point the ship at the whale.
Kareth Race and her special destiny. So I feel very much like what I do want to talk about with Global All-Stars, and I feel kind of bad about it, but like there's maybe something artificial about it's troubled by the way they came together. It does not feel like this is a celebration of what we've reached. It feels like a milestone that we must check. It feels like Rue is hitting that age that all great talk show and game show variety hosts hit, where they say, this thing I've built has become too powerful an empire. I simply cannot attend to every one of my beautiful children. It wouldn't be reasonable. But I have so many beautiful children who are ready to step up. So we see Rue retreating from the responsibility. She is not Canada versus the world, which I know she's not Canada, but a versus the world is the opportunity because she is the world. You know what I mean? That is her chance to step into those seats. And certainly I don't miss, I'm saying it right now. Comment section. I know you've got to be Canadian. I hear you. CBC rules. Same.
Well, if they film it there, it's a versus the world. She could say, y'all are coming to Los Angeles.
Exactly. And so I exactly feel that way. And part of what I wonder is if Global All-Stars is meant to maybe replace Rue hosting All-Stars. Are we going to see Rue's final season of All-Stars being 10? And then will season 11 of All-Stars be hosted by Miss Vanjie and Bianca Del Rio? Will it be some sort of very different take on the show going forward? Because Rue is going to concern herself only with global domination and fracking. I mean, fucking global domination. I mean, fracking. I said the fracking. I said it there. According to Bowen Yang, though, that means that I have a black soul, so.
Huh.
We listen to a lot of Janet. So I think
Is that a read?
Not that, but okay.
Can't believe RuPaul and Janet are not cousins with all of the cousins that Janet just dropped.
Give it time. We don't know. Nobody asked about RuPaul. She's got more interviews to do this year.
The Jackson family sounds like they are the most fabulously, fantastically talented family of all time. And so, like, with all of the people they are related to, it almost seems impossible that, like, they don't have some incredibly wealthy cousins everywhere. Like Matt Damon, inexplicably, Janet Jackson's cousin from Boston. Like,
Yeah, part of me actually kind of hopes that a little bit of this is a punking on the behalf of Janet Jackson. She's just going to start naming, like, dozens of black people, and at the end of this be like, we're not all related!
like it's going to end with Dr. T.
You believed it! Yeah.
But hi, if anybody of the Jackson family would like to adopt me,
Except
Not
the one
anybody.
who was on claim to fame. He and I are just going to go drinking.
Many members. Not anyone at all, that's for sure.
so. Yes, I agree. I think that if we were going to hand over All Stars to anyone, it's probably going to still go to Michelle. Just at least for another 10 years, because she's got time still. Rue is at the age where people think about retiring. Michelle's not quite there yet. So yeah, I think you're right. I'll be interested to see how it plays out over the next little while of how much RuPaul puts in, if we see other judges, if we see more girls stepping in to the judging table. We'll see.
It's also that thing where, like, RuPaul is definitely reaching in age. And it's kind of the age where, like, when Jane Fonda was there, we were like, oh, and she'll go off into the sunset soon. And it's like 25 years after that for Jane Fonda, and she's never looked hotter, and she's never more active, and she's not slowing down. And I sort of really wonder with Rue, like, I know the big thing is it's not enjoyable to be in the face. And it's painful, but I just, yeah, you know, and I know she sits and is in sweats, whatever. And I think that is so respectable. I that's like, of all the things I would critique Rue for, I hate nothing more than the fact that anybody has ever put down that she figured out how to get comfortable at a judging booth. Because right now, I'm like, could I put on shorter shorts? I'm so hot right now.
Mayan Lopez talked about all the judges have a blanket under a blanket and cozy.
Yeah.
Fuzzy slippers that they wear under the judges panel. They're all comfortable under there.
Yeah, as they should. Yeah. But I'm just sort of like, I get this idea that, like, she might want to not keep doing it. But then, you know, I also can totally see, like, she takes a year off and is like, oh no, I still have plenty left in me. Like, I'm just coming right back to it or doing something else. I could see her doing the Ellen Pompeo where she gets in the studio for 2 weeks, does all of the prompts, all of the voiceovers, and then, you know, somebody else is doing the judging in whatever capacity. I mean, there's just so many ways it could go.
Yeah.
From like total retirement to she just doesn't stop for another 20 years. And we legitimately have no idea. And then I get curious about, like, is there sellability in the countdown? And when will that become a potential product? It just, like, this is a really open field. And I think about it too much.
One of the things that I'm so overwhelmed by with what this is offering us as well is an opportunity to think about the avenues which we might engage with the international seasons and what that's going to do for the national state of Drag Race. I was reading this really fascinating piece where the world sort of just says, oh, well, Plastique is the most followed person to ever be on RuPaul's Drag Race. No, she's not. Trixie Mattel has 1.2 million more followers than her. And the only person connected to Drag Race to have more followers than Trixie Mattel is RuPaul, who has 1.2 million more followers than Trixie Mattel. The distance between Trixie Mattel and RuPaul is the distance between Trixie Mattel and the next most successful person to ever be on Drag Race. And when you think about what that means, and you think about the fact that that statement, the next most successful, well, now let's put the asterisk next to it on social media. Because now let's go to the next stage. Who's the actual next most successful? It's Jinx Monsoon. Jinx Monsoon, who has more Broadway credits to her name than a number of Tony winners and TV credits, and soon to be, I'm sure, more legitimate movie credits than Hurricane Bianca. And so the thing that I find myself, I give her a lot of, dog biscuits, but sometimes she's a bitch.
It's cute.
I'm sure it is, but Rachel Dratch looks like an alien. And so I think specifically that the metric that this is giving us is a sort of fair way to kind of say the world is going to make it that the queens are always pitted against each other in ugly ways, and the world is always going to hold very different accountability for levels of success. This is just sort of a really cool way to say, well, did you like Helena? Go watch her show. Did you like Eva La Queen? Go watch her show. And I know I am guilty of watching predominantly English-speaking international editions and a smattering of the English-speaking international editions that speak English enough, everybody's favorite language, EESL as a second language, English enough. And I think that's legitimately really important because, if you get most of it and you can look up for what little bits you miss, then you should be, I personally think, then you should be engaging with that show. I think that's an important thing to do. Broaden your horizons. It's not just about the drag that owns primetime. It's about the drag that owns the world. And this would be a great opportunity. So I do hope this leads to that.
Definitely. Fingers crossed.
Also, that does look like the Captain Planet globe. I do just need to put that out there.
Oh, yeah.
So...
Equally as gay.
Captain Planet made me a humongous homosexual. Honestly, so I do want to put in some votes. I do hope Alyssa Edwards is in the top 3 because if she's not, I don't want to hear the Roxy shit again. I would like Pythia to win. She was my favorite in Canada. She is my favorite here. I just think the world of her. I feel so badly. I forget her Greek sister's name. Athena, who really quite a fun girl. A lot of fun, playful. I like all of these girls, to be honest. I would like Queen to be in the top. I would like Alyssa to be in the top. I would like Pythia to be in the top. I resent that I feel like I have a top 3 based on my English speaking
predilection.
I wanted to say predilection, but it sounds a little too sexy. So how about Preda Touchson?
Only from episode 1, though. You don't really know any of these girls yet, so I think that's part of where your top 3 is coming from. I think as you get to know some of them better, you will probably find yourself rooting for some of them more. I don't know that there's any way for us to avoid that because that's true on any All-Stars season. You're going to gravitate more toward the girls from the seasons you enjoyed most. And so if you haven't seen France or Germany, you're not necessarily going to be rooting for those girls as readily because you don't know them yet. And this talent opening was weird. So, yeah.
For me, I would love to see Alyssa finally win. I think that it would just be wonderful for her, wonderful for me and my heart. But I don't want her to win because I think a non-English speaking country needs to win. Personally, if it's not that, let it be Down Under. Let the Canadians, Americans, and UK keep to themselves for now.
Except Pythia, who is from Greece and immigrated to Canada, and I think English is her 3rd language. And she is a perfect Greek. She is a perfect Greek boy, and I love her so much. I don't have words. So,
And honestly,
Perfect.
Pythia gave gave so much promise to me in this particular performance. Yeah, you know, I think a bunch of English speaking queens ended up standing out, and I do think Kevo, I mean, you really just brought exactly the core of
Apple core.
at the Apple core, the, you know, why that happens, why that's going to be the case for all of us. It's just, they're the ones we know, they're the ones we're comfortable with. We're in a new format, we're in Colombia, we're seeing all these people we don't know. Rue's being weird and wearing a bindi that doesn't look right, and it keeps I kept thinking of that line from 30 Rock where Jack goes, the Globos are really moraying to get Liz Lemon off stage. And it just, oh man, God, I hated this so much.
When you're ready, come and get it. Nah, 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 nah.
I mean,
just
we
saw
all
that
want to be
video for the first time.
Vision. We all want to be, you know, cosplay Vision, just like a little
I blame
bit.
Gwen Stefani.
Or Meow.
Great examples all. Anyway, I really hope that like minds get changed over time and we all break out of our English speaking trap. Eva La Queen gives me so much hope because I mean, like, I know she did it in English, but not a native English speaker from a native English speaking country. Incredible talent, incredible beauty, so hilarious. I don't know, like I see a lot of promise in so many of these girls. This will be really fun. I'm so torn because, like Tori, I mean, like I've been here for a while waiting for Alyssa to win. So like, there is a big part of me that's like, I just want to see the Duchess win. But also, like, I was the person in All Stars 2 who was like, it doesn't matter if Alyssa wins because she's won the hearts and minds of America. Like, she had her own reality show, which I think should have gotten more seasons. She's such a success as a business and has been shown by the world time and time again that we just love her. And it's that thing of like, because I love her and she's a pageant queen, I'm like, I want her to get the ultimate crown because like that's the story of this girl that I love. But then also there's a part of me that's like, anytime they bring Alyssa on, there's always going to be a girl that is as good as Alyssa and deserves it as well, and doesn't have Alyssa's notoriety and success and didn't like have her luck about when she came into Drag Race and how she came in. And that girl's not going to get the same opportunities that Alyssa got. So it's just a fascinating back and forth. She's just such a weird character. And we never talk about the GOAT, which was a weird Alyssa moment that just happened.
I couldn't stop thinking about something that was going through my head. And so let's get back to the GOAT in 1 second. I promise not to forget.
I don't have anything more to say. It's just weird that she was on it.
Oh, good. Okay. Great. Weird. You're weird. I'm kidding. You're beautiful. So here's the thing. I was thinking about something that TK would probably be one of the few people that understand what I'm talking about. But like, when we were kids, American Gladiators was an international show that would sometimes have like international gladiator specials where, you know, international edition gladiators would travel to one studio and they would do like a special. And so I'm trying to think, what else did something this extent? Like, I know they did the World Idol thing for which Kelly Clarkson got paid $19, which I cannot stop throwing in people's faces whenever they're like, it was so horrible that she didn't thank American Idol when she won her first Grammy. And I'm like, you know what? Win a first Grammy and then talk to me about your regrets. So I can't compare this to any. It's so fucking stupid and I feel so embarrassed. But this is sort of like one of those Super Sentai Power Ranger multi-season crossover episodes where, like, you know 8 of the Rangers, maybe, but you don't know all 16 and then the 40 that appear in the full complement. And, like, there are so few things on TV that ask you to look at multiple generations of characters and sort of pull from that. It's like, it's like Power Rangers, there's Star Trek in the films, there's the generations of Star Wars, there's so few things that are so many-full like this. And I feel like it's such a testament to the fact that we're comparing this to something like Power Rangers, which is 40 years in. It's got like, I'm 38, so it's got to be 32, 33 years in. And this is only what 16, 17 real years in as a franchise, and look what it's managed, and just the idea that this is basically the Forever Red of RuPaul.
I appreciate that. And you can even push it in the direction of like Sailor Scout team.
Oh my God, yes.
Put a more feminine spin on it. That it is like a magical girl series of the same caliber of Power Rangers or Sailor Moon. And, the overall premise, it's one of the things that I think makes being a fan of Drag Race so exciting. I joked at the top of the episode too much, because we're in an overlap right now between two genuinely amazing iterations of the program. But that's the thrill of it, too, is that there are so many seasons. There have been so many casts. And I really hope that this can be a gateway for people to start getting invested in other countries' seasons. That's the whole idea of a versus the world or an All-Stars challenge or anything that's a crossover, is trying to lead people back to where these people came from. So that'd be cool.
We're on the show X's for Show, and I'm just super confused why you fellas aren't talking about the fact that it's just all of the X-Men comics. You get a new team and you're like, I know 3 of these people and there's 7 of them I don't, and then you're just learning them all.
Yeah. Well, and it's really funny because I'm such a fan of so much of fandom. I love to love fandom. I love learning about things that I don't know and I'll never watch. The amount of video games I will never play that I know everything about. The number of casts of Drag Race that I have learned extensively about, and I don't know when I will get to watching Drag Race Medieval London 1347. But let me tell you, I am so excited about ye old
still hosting.
Yeah, ye old Sir RuPaul. And she comes in the most fabulous chainmail. I am excited when I get to watch it.
You dummy.
I am the dumbest. But the main thing here is we have reached a point of hypersaturation where it has encroached onto megalithic macrocosmic fandom. And I think that's where you wind up with things like Canada versus the world feeling compelled. And as a guy who often feels compelled and has very little self-control, let me tell you, I would have found the self-control somewhere in my body to resist the absolute decimation of form that was Snatch Game the Rusical. Neither Snatch Game nor Rusical, neither microwave nor toaster. I do not know what radioactive garbage they just put in my kitchen. But these were some of the worst Snatch Game performances ever. Whatever intern said, you do these, clearly had been just broken up with by their personal trainer boyfriend and now was on a deep ketamine loop and had no choice but to give in to the K-hole and approved each one of these fucking ridiculous characters, more absurd than the last. I think the songs were bad. I think the characters were very stupid. And I think every performance was given its all. Every one of these girls gave everything they had. This was perhaps an area where some executive producers were hoping to do something very interesting and very daring. And when you choose to be daring, when you choose to push the envelope in storytelling, sometimes you get a Snatch Game the Rusical. And I will never... hey, look, there was always a second Darren, and he was certainly garbage. The first Darren, perfect. Second Darren, garbage. Snatch Game, perfect. Rusicals, perfect. Snatch Game the Rusical, like I said, there's always a second Darren.
I did not enjoy this. I think this is one of the worst Snatch Games I've ever seen. Not because the characters were bad necessarily, or that they were particularly unfunny or boring. I just felt like we didn't have the same je ne sais quoi that we get out of Snatch Game. I felt like they were too nervous trying to remember all the songs that they had to do, so they couldn't really
Good news,
get
they
into
didn't.
it. So I was just unimpressed. I couldn't tell if they actually decided to show a question that was that had them all terrible at it just before they did the flop song, or if it just happened to work out that way. I'm really hoping it just happened to work out that way. But it was not fun. And I was talking to Kevo about this, and we were discussing the fact that it doesn't feel like this is the venue for a musical about Snatch Game. Like, it's explaining it to us. It's telling us all the parts of it. And like, yeah, sure. Like, if you want to take this to a different theater and run a Snatch Game where there's 5 different queens every time, like, that'd be great. That'd be something where, yes, you do need those couple songs to get people into it.
Oh,
but,
no, the Snatch Game touring musical. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, no.
Specifically, Canada's Drag Race, Canada versus the World, Season 2. This late into a season is not going to be your first ever experience with Drag Race or Snatch Game, and so a lot of the songs at the beginning being very, this is what Snatch Game is. We're all dressed as people. That part was genuinely, like, I really feel bad for saying kind of god-awful, but like, it was exhausting. About halfway through, when they started being self-referential, when they started making callbacks to other Snatch Games, the one where they named like every single season and country, that stuff, I can't speak to Nico's perception in terms of like the music but like in terms of enjoyment of what this was supposed to be, that was where it started picking up. I want a Snatch Game the Rusical for someone who has seen many Snatch Games. I didn't need an introduction to Snatch Game.
Kevo, you meatloafed me. You are Jim Steinem right now because you took the words right out of my mouth. I really agree that the parts where this succeeded were the parts where it played along with the audience. The Vogue style, naming all of the winners and then saying, and now I'm going to do All Stars, was like so clever and sharp. And I thought the two best by far were Lemon and Fiercelicious. I thought everybody else was on the stage, but really the two of them were the stars. I like Cheryl, but this was the worst week for Cheryl in the franchise. Between her behavior, which was, I'm finally speaking up for myself after always putting myself second for all of you. And then Alexis not even letting a moment go and going, okay, when, bitch? And she had nothing.
I mean, I did love it though, because that was funny. It was very funny. Like, Fiercelicious has been called out on her behavior all season, as she should have been, and I've laughed every time and still love her. And I just thought it was really funny for Cheryl to be like, I'm so giving, and for everybody else to be like, you're actually, who have you given to? And she had no answer
in this list.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was very funny. Like, it was unhinged, but I was just laughing the whole, like, it was just such a drag girl moment. And somebody even pointed out, like, I guess in your head you maybe didn't speak up, but that's very different than being giving. I don't know. I just thought that was very funny. You're right. It's not a cute look for the girl, but I thought her choice was smart, which I think most people's choices were not smart. And I thought she did really well on her song. I do think you're correct that Lemon and Fiercelicious were the best. I was actually very surprised that Fiercelicious was in the bottom 3. That felt a little riggery. But oh man. Baby Ron DeSantis almost was disqualifying insofar as it was just nothing. And I really, like, we have to have standards here, right? Like, we have to have something. It can't just be, like, you can't just be, it's got to be some baby, right? It just can't be a baby. You can't just be a baby. And saying it's Ron DeSantis when
like,
it's
It's not like he's known as Baby Ron DeSantis. Yeah.
Yeah,
this
like
is-
if
Yeah.
it were the bonnet and everything, but he were even in the suit, he has such an iconic suit. Or when he was wearing the stupid boots, the waiters and the vest, and he was like trying to like hand out food, and everybody's like, "No, we already are doing relief efforts. Please don't try and help." There's so many there's not so many, but there are iconic looks for Ron DeSantis that you could just put some baby accessories on, and I would have bought that, but. Wasn't funny, didn't make any sense as a reference, and then her song wasn't good. I'm almost like, why did we even? I would have had a top 3 and just put the bottom 2 down.
So I so much of that resonates with me. But Jonah, you've had some maybe different experiences and different opinions. You definitely gave me a look when I said this was Cheryl's worst week. I would love to know where you're coming from, because I have heard you tapping along to the conversation.
I only disagree with the Cheryl comment because I think the other time she's been eliminated have been worse weeks.
Was she as big? I think, and I might be using the correct UK slang, so please correct me if I'm wrong. Was she as big a dumb fucking bint? Those I'm kidding. I just wanted to say bint. Was she as dumb those weeks too? Like, has she always had kind of like? Because I'm the same.
Well,
When I lose, I am a horrible loser.
No, especially her season. She just like sadly left after not doing great, but she was sweet the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, we have a very famous quote from her. Ready for another week of me doing mediocre. She's very self-aware that she might not be the best at Drag Race. Her first elimination, many people see that as riggery because she made an actual twin of her sister and then was sent home because she didn't have any wins at that point, and the other people had 3 wins, so they're not going to put her in the top 3.
It's not Rue's fault that her twin sister is a dud. That is why they recast alien Rachel Dratch with Jane Krasinski.
Krakowski,
You know-
you were
Krakowski,
so
I almost
close.
said
You were
Jane
so
Kaczmarek,
close.
and that's where I tried
Oh, I thought you were about to say Krakowski and then switch to.
No, I almost said Kaczmarek.
Jane
You were
Lynch.
so close.
Keva, what you got?
I don't remember.
Anyway,
Yeah. Cheryl's I wasn't bothered by Cheryl being like, I give so much, and then it's like, no, because I'm just like, I've heard this song and dance 17 times by now. Like, we all hear a queen going, I deserve this because I give things up, and it's like, yeah, and none of it matters.
none of it matters. Where everybody's in a wig. Relax.
No.
Unless you're Joey J.
No, don't say nothing really matters, because then they're all going to show up in the fucking kimono. That's kimono game. That's what it's referencing. It's referencing nothing really matters.
One small detail. They said Plain Jane, but that season had not aired by the time they did this. So they have no idea who Plain Jane is.
But they went out of their way to put it in.
This was filmed after season 16 filmed. So they say Plain Jane. They don't know who Plain Jane is.
It had an
Yeah,
air
there's no way Alexis or Kennedy has ever met
This
Plain
was
Jane
filmed, I
before
believe, in
Drag
November.
Race.
I mean,
So you mean the girls don't know? The production team that wrote the song,
production
production team knew. I was like, then Jonah, why? How did they create this song?
No. The
Yeah,
girls
okay.
don't
Yes,
know.
the girls don't know, and that which brings me to my next point. Kennedy had no idea that Olivia Lux already did Tabitha, and it's a terrible idea.
Kennedy
for a
has no idea
character.
what the fuck show she's on.
Yeah.
Which part of what I guess maybe wasn't the best about the Snatch Game is that we have Alexis, who has the pregnant Alicia Keys and Walter Mercado, which were absolutely fantastic. Kennedy, I guess, is a coin flip because her Little Richard was hysterical.
Is one of my all-time favorite
Shut
characters
up!
of
But
all
her,
time.
I think she did Phaedra Parks, which is weird because after watching Phaedra Parks on Traitors, she would be a fantastic Snatch Game character.
She also the quotes even at that point, the list of quotes is unending.
I want to see Tia Coffey do Phaedra Parks.
I would love that.
you mean official Netflix podcast Heartstopper post, Tia Coffee?
Yeah.
And I think one of the things I noted about this too is I feel inventing new characters was perhaps also part of the problem. It was just another chemical to add to this mix that probably made it harder. You know, you're naming some great characters that we already knew were in their wheelhouses. And again, if you're doing a Snatch Game the Rusical that is supposed to be this is what Snatch Game is, it maybe should have been like, one idea I had was like, what if they had done iconic Snatch Game characters, but in their own voice? Like, I think having
Room.
to invent these, and then like Lemon coming up with Susan Boyle was amazing. It was ultimately amazing, but that was just so weird, and it could have made the whole thing tank even more if she hadn't channeled it so well.
I wish one of them did Tank Girl.
Yeah.
So I don't think. I don't think. Just period.
I don't
No,
think.
I don't think.
I don't think.
No.
Big himbo energy.
The idea of doing Snatch Game as a Rusical is not a bad idea. Quite frankly, I think it's a great idea. I'm going to name a musical. This is for the on the iceberg. It's like slightly a little mid. I'll say mid. 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee is literally a musical about a spelling bee. You have an introductory song that tells you the rules of a spelling bee. If you start to spell a word, you may start over with the sequence of letters, but it's in the same blah blah blah.
Plus a little Chicago.
A little Chicago, yes, but nothing about the idea of Snatch Game the Rusical is bad. But in my mind, the way to make that work is then you're not just then don't play actual Snatch Game. You don't need to have everything be pre-recorded, pre-written. Have them play pre-archetyped characters of how people tackle Snatch Game. The unprepared person, the person who the prodigy, Bob, whatever you want.
Yeah, because then you're playing unprepared. That's great.
Have everything just be pre-written and pre-done, and just lean into the Rusical. Having them do a Rusical and half that, but then also expect them to actually play Snatch Game is weird and not good. I feel like they're setting them up for failure. I don't know if Bob Dragon didn't come up with this, but I think about this all the time. When Bob said this on the pit stop, you can't really mix comedy with things that are not comedy. This wasn't a comedy Rusical either.
Alan Ball has no idea what you're talking about.
Comedy only works when it's surrounded by comedy. When you intersect comedy and things that are not comedic, it gets weird. Not that you can't have a funny one-liner or whatever, but if you're telling me the gig and the zhuzh should be comedy, why either do one or the other? You can't marry these two ideas the way that they did it. I think you can, but you're not. In my mind, you're not actually playing Snatch Game at that point.
I really think he's right, because if what you're saying to me is I should put a raw egg, some raw chicken, and fire, and then a piece of bread in my mouth, I'm going to be real mad at you. But if I made a chicken cutlet and I ate it, I'd be thrilled. And just because you're putting together a bunch of things that we associate positively does not mean that they're going to gel into a chicken cutlet, my friend.
I have questions.
You also want chicken cutlets?
And now I'm dying. But until we
chicken cutlets,
until we can sign off and I can go get like a chicken Pam sub, I have questions. Was this a dry? So okay, what I'm getting at here, Brooklyn is already not a great Snatch Game hostess compared to RuPaul. RuPaul is so weird, and there's so many things that I don't enjoy her in as a host, but Snatch Game is perfect because her energy and her stupid laugh is important there. I hate it sometimes when it happens on stage during judging, and I feel it's completely inauthentic. When the girls need some kind of reaction in order for because as so many of them have said, and this keeps coming up recently in like clips from
Pod Chasers and things.
Thank you. It's dead silent in the room. There's not an audience. They don't have the music backing them. They see the lights and everything differently. There's no cuts for them, so it doesn't get cut. So for them, they have no idea if they're funny. The only thing they have is RuPaul laughing, and her energy and she's actually a great improver in Snatch Game. Ru is so important to Snatch. Good enough, Jonah. Good enough.
I think Ru's a good improver. Ru is a great improver when Ru wants to be. And if she does not like you,
but that's her being great too, because it's her choice to be horrible when she wants to see you fail.
In agreement with you, when she's on Lingo and she wants somebody to be just languishing. I mean, this is Mariah Carey eponymous debut album, Languishing. It is that level.
Yeah, she'll do it.
And
she does not care.
Lingo every single week. Which, by the way, we just finished Lingo season 2, which was 10 episodes plus a Christmas episode. It is so weird that they took a show about spelling and bingo got rid of all of the bingo, kept the spelling, added RuPaul, and then added a magical bonus round of competition. I can't even explain it.
And where RuPaul loses her freaking mind over saying my
Lucky balls. Every single week, she loses her shit. There have been 21
Good for
episodes.
her.
It is genuinely a lot
I
of
think
fun.
she forgets the joke each time it happens. That's why she laughs.
So she knows what she's doing, being this kind of host. It's really important for Snatch Game. Brooklyn is not as good at it in any way.
And fake Brooke is not either.
That's where I was going with it. Fake Brooke is like even a step worse in the problem. So we're already like I'm saying, like, is this a dry run to try and do it in the American Drag Race and see like what needs to happen? And if so, is it maybe so far removed from what would happen if you did it with RuPaul? But I'm just like,
Doing it with RuPaul.
5 people isn't enough for a Snatch Game. It's not enough for a real Rusical.
Right.
Having the host not even be the second-rate version of the original host.
I would have rather Reese.
Yeah. I mean, like,
Reese is a delight.
Oh my
Reese,
god, Reese.
Reese really is a delight. I would have imported even like Roz. I don't know, but it was so. Hollywood Jade, an incredible choreographer.
What about the ghost
job
Tracy Melkor who wasn't here?
Filter.
Yes, Murdered by
I have a
Fierce.
question.
That'll happen.
What do you mean dry run? Like in terms of what?
Like,
Combining
could we?
musical-
Yeah, could we do this on the American season?
Like,
Is it?
I mean, literally this Snatch
Yeah,
Game the
yeah.
Rusical again.
I
Yes,
think they will do
that's the
season
thing.
musicals.
We
Yeah,
did it. So can we? Who would want to see this again, especially if the first one wasn't very good? That's my concern.
Yeah,
They will
like,
do.
This was Snatch Game the Rusical, and that's it. There's just
I
not. gonna be
I
another one.
think you are probably right, but I just wonder if it was a test run of some kind. I mean, a test run for either, can we combine challenges to make a Rusical more interesting? Can we combine challenges to do something else with Snatch Game, which is getting a little stale? I don't know. I'm spitballing ideas. I mean, I see no indication of this.
I think they're going to do All Stars the musical.
Yeah.
Or season 5, the top 5, the Rusical, and they're going to do people playing girls from Drag Race
Yeah,
because they
I like
own
that.
those likenesses.
Right.
So there won't be any problem securing those rights, and it won't be a cruel interpretation of Jinx. It'll be like, I was a bog rat, now I'm a Broadway star.
You call me a bog rat.
Exactly. It'll be Alaska
What?
offering people $25,000, $34,000, $200 million to win. Exactly. Like, I think you're so right, TK. It's not just that they're trying out the format, they're trying out the conceptualization of what about these girls creating personas within the realm of Drag Race on a meta level. Totally.
Yeah.
Right.
I have no, I mean, it feels like it's got to be something, because this just was ill-advised in a lot of ways for a great episode, but it did check the boxes of getting Snatch Game done, getting the Rusical done. And unfortunately, I mean, the other thing that I said, I think just to Nico, was this is a terrible challenge to have it be, if you're not in the top, you're in the bottom. It really resulted in something that wasn't fun to watch. I get why Kennedy felt the way she felt, but it wasn't a good position to see her in that moment. Fierce did too well to like get the critiques that I don't know, just everything about it was off. And I should say everything about the idea was off. You really could see the girls putting a lot into it. And I mean, for as bad as Kennedy's Tabitha was, and the fact that she didn't know her lyrics, she of course still gave a performance that had so much energy and dancing and movement talent to it that she really does deserve some credit. But picking a terrible character, doing it badly, and not knowing your lyrics, also really a problem. I don't know. Overall, maybe I think upon reflection, I'll be really happy to have watched this because of what it will ultimately, in a year, when we see, 2 years, when we see what the thing that came out of them doing this was, like what they realized they could make having done this and seeing what the pratfalls were, I'll be like, well, we had to break a whole bunch of eggs to get the gorgeous omelet that we get in season 18 or whatever.
You can't have Rent without Tick Tick Boom.
Yeah, that's really true.
What a horrible thing to say, too.
Yeah.
But there would be absolutely no further art without the art that maybe struggles to get there in the first place. I don't want to say that there is a direct line from every piece of successful art to a piece of unsuccessful art, but I think the early seasons of Drag Race being underground legends that would grow into this, more phenomenal phenomena is certainly a testament to the fact that it takes building the ship to be able to sail properly. And ultimately, I do hope that this is the right framework for the ship to sail on, but I do wonder how much refinement is necessary. Should it be Drag Race the Rusical? Should it be, I would think Rusical the Rusical would be hysterical, where they do like a Smoky Ruse Cafe of the best Rusical numbers ever and just put them together loosely in song. Other than we don't necessarily want to give everybody who's ever worked on the show money to use their songs. Hey, some crazy white supremacist song. I'm sorry, white betterment songwriters that long gone. But I do think that what we are standing at is the precipice of the show transforming into something very different. Only because everything transforms, everything changes. You can't be on TV for 20 years and hope to be the same thing unless you are the news, in which case you are just always depressing. So, other than the news is depressing and the world is a bummer, I can't think of anything better to leave off on this episode on.
Oh, wait, I can. We all say thank you to Miss Fierce-Alicious for giving us way back when to those shady mirror messages. Congrats, Lemon.
Sabotage.
Congrats, Lemon is the intentional version of the Sasha Colby meet and greet. That is just one of the funniest, sharpest things. And now, who did you compare that to previously?
Season 3, Mariah Perez Balenciaga, aka Mariah the Face, wrote "Congrats, Raja" in her mirror message, and you can see it hastily wiped away by production.
Yeah. I've heard that there's been a couple of mirror messages that call the winner early on, and usually they're hidden or they're wiped away beforehand.
Well, I thought it was really funny that she called it sabotage. When just track record alone, there was no chance she was winning this show.
Well, I didn't love her, and I still don't love her, and I will never love her. I will never love you, but
you don't love me.
You don't love me. The thing I think Fierce-Alicious did offer was a palpably real middle finger to production. I think sometimes that TK and Jonah, you guys give me the background and I'm able to read that middle finger. But Fierce-Alicious literally she checked out. She checked out completely halfway through this episode, and she
Season.
Maybe, yeah.
Well,
she gave everything she had for this Snatch Game performance. She gave everything she had to this Rusical, and she danced like someone who wanted you to really enjoy her performance tonight, and it's hard not to see the face of somebody who felt like they had no allies. And I often feel like I have no allies in situations where I'm not with my family, where I'm not with my pack, where I'm not with this group of people on the screen right now. And all I want to do is retreat. I think about what it would be like to be Katya and be like, Rue, I'm a recovering addict, and I have not been to a meeting in 6 weeks. I am struggling. And I think about what that must be like for someone like Fierce-Alicious, who I'm not defending her, but as somebody who is also kind of an acquired taste, I know what it is like to be difficult and maybe best in the arms of the people who love you. And I really think Fiercealicious managed to balance the middle finger and the fist of power really beautifully in this final episode. I've never been a bigger Fiercealicious fan, and Lemon's win was as valid and deserving as Fiercealicious's Fifth-alicious walk-off in Defiance. And I was so grateful that she went out a winner. I think she was a winner, period. She went out a winner, and that is like the coolest thing you can say. This was Dayla going home.
I guess.
I mean, I love her. I think she's great. I think, I love her bad attitude and how she gets mopey and nasty when she doesn't get her way. She's a little brat.
Good.
You do love brats, don't you?
I love a brat. Petulant. I think she's so cute. Her looks were gorgeous. She's so talented. Like, I'm not, there are some bratty girls on this thing where I'm like, how can you be bratty? You bring nothing to the table. She brings so much to the table. I get why she's being a brat, because she wants to be doing better, and she, for reasons that are fair sometimes, unfair others, she isn't. She's pissed. She kept her composure mostly. I don't think Lemon sabotaged her. I think Lemon made a very fair choice, but I get why. What?
We know that they will do everything in their power to crown a Canadian. We know that they wanted to do on season 1, and they didn't do that.
Yeah.
So Lemon sabotaged her by eliminating the only other Canadian, making her the only viable choice.
Well,
honestly, on the one hand, yes, but on the other, I don't think she was a viable choice.
That's not.
No, I actually think that she could have sent Alexis home.
She could have sent Alexis home.
I think
Absolutely.
she could have sent Alexis home. And I think, honestly, there should have been a conversation where Lemon leaned in and said, for Canada, you want to take out an American? And she'd be like, hell yeah, let's go.
Yes.
But it never happened, so, oh well.
I would have loved that for its own storyline and drama, but I still do not think Fiercealicious would have been the third person on the stage at the end of next episode.
No.
Yeah. So, but I still love her. She's gorgeous. This look was incredible. Few people can look so beautiful with black sclera contacts. She's just great. She's so fun. I love her. I hope that I get to see her perform live at some point, because I bet she's fantastic.
All right. Global All-Stars, Canada versus the world. If I'm picking my winners, it's Lemon and Pythia. If I am guessing the winners, it's gonna be Alyssa and Kennedy. And Tori, talk to me.
It's Lemon. Lemon's winning this one. And I think it is either going to be Alyssa or one of the non-English speaking countries. I really do. I just can't decide which version they're going to do. I think Kennedy is a strong contender for a possibility for Canada versus the world, but I don't think she's going to get it. I think they really do want to give it to a Canadian.
All right, and favorite moment from FlameCon?
Oh, just all the lovely people that I met at the table while we were making little masks and talking to folks, telling them all about our shows and our panels.
And welcome
Loved
all of
it.
you new viewers. We love you, every one of you. Tori, thank you for being the first one to say it. All of our new viewers, we think you were so incredible. Everybody we met this weekend at FlameCon, whether you came to us at our table, from a panel, walking around at the after party, kings, queens, and every royal in between, all of you. Jonah, tell me, Canada, global Canada, that's the format. Global Canada, what is your personal winner? What is your expected winner? And favorite FlameCon moment?
In question answer form. Personal winner from both global and Canada. I would love it to be Galavado and Lemon. Who I expected to win is probably, I'm going to say Eva La Queen and Lemon. Favorite FlameCon moment, getting to do 2 wonderful panels with this wonderful cast of this motley crew that I love so much, and getting to just, get to talk to you, find people in a live format.
I love that. Kevo, talk to me. Who is your Canada choice? Who is your global choice? And favorite FlameCon moment?
Go
Go behind the banner.
I know. I'm working on it. I'm doing producing stuff.
Oh, I was trying to do it too.
No, I'm good. Did a Canadian win season 1?
No,
Don't-
Raja O'Hara.
Okay. So for that reason, I would definitely agree they probably want to crown a Canadian. Who will that Canadian be? How will that shake out? Will it actually happen? I don't know. So because of that, I'm not sure. Global, I mean, everyone is pulling for Alyssa because Alyssa is just Alyssa. But I think, like we said during that segment, it'll really depend on seeing more from all of these girls and getting to know them better. I can only pick the queens that I know well so far. So I'm looking forward to getting to know the other ones that I'm not as familiar with. My favorite moment from FlameCon, I had such an amazing time on the panels that we did. I was so grateful to FlameCon for accepting my panel proposals. We're going to submit 24 each next year. We have so many ideas because the panel is basically just what we do on this show, but with a little more focused a topic than just reviewing an episode of the week. Thank you again so much to our guests, Hamish Steele, creator of Dead Endia and Dead End Paranormal Park on Netflix. Definitely check it out. It's a great show.
And if I can just say, you don't expect somebody that cool to be that cool. And Kevo, thank you so much for writing these panels and bringing this guy to us.
Yeah, FlameCon connected us. People keep giving me credit. No. Thank you,
Well,
FlameCon.
you said yes. You could have said no.
Sure.
And you
Well,
created a
thank you,
panel
FlameCon,
that they wanted to be on.
And thank you, FlameCon, for making sure to connect indie creators who might not know each other and people who, they said Hamish was looking for a panel to be on. So I immediately accepted, and it was great. Thank you also to our friends Jessica Krause and to Demanda Martini. We hope to have you all on the channel soon.
TK, you are the only human who has not given us your thoughts. Expected winner, personal winner, and FlameCon moment of the mome.
All right, so for global, my expected is Alyssa. My preferred is gonna probably be either Eva or Pythia, but I do think that one really is going to evolve. My preferred is going to evolve. My betting money for now is definitely on Alyssa. For Canada, they are the same. It is Lemon. 'Tis her time, and she has earned it. I do love Cheryl. I would love to see Cheryl.
Well, because she's so giving.
I just wanted her to win something, but now she's not going to win anything.
I don't even think she's gonna.
But it's
I
fine.
think it's her. Not. I don't think she's on stage in the top
Fan
three. But I do.
favorite work.
Yeah, I mean, for me, she's fan favorite. I've loved her since the get-go. So, honestly, I don't get to spend enough time with these folks you're looking at right here in person. So that was my favorite part. I mean, don't get me wrong. I loved meeting all of you out there in the world. I love doing the panel overall and just, getting to kind of rant for a while in front of an audience. But spending time with my crew is my favorite thing. And it's the thing I love the best. And the fact that we got to do it amongst a bunch of geeky, nerdy culture things that I really love only made it so much sweeter.
And the shopping. Oh my god.
Yeah, there was some. Oh my gosh.
The shopping.
Okay, I take back everything I said. I don't care about any of you. My favorite part was that somebody finally had Splatoon artwork at the thing, and I got to buy it. That was actually my favorite part.
I want to say I already gave my vote for the winners. But my absolute highlights were meeting Tiffany D. Carter, who you can find at badgal_Tiff, a phenomenal drag queen who was walking around cosplaying beautifully. I also want to give it up to Cop, who is actually Stephen Kopp, a journalist covering cons. You can check him out at K0PP on Instagram. Amazing guy, phenomenal conversation, really about providing opportunities and avenues for conventions to get the word out there. I want to give it up for Jason Rivera. You can check him out at JasonRIV37 on Instagram. Some of the best artwork I have ever seen at a convention, really blew my mind. The unbelievable Batman work of the Myth of Chris Reeds. Check them out on Instagram. And a little special something to Fix It Felix Fisher, who did their first ever showing at a convention with some of the most beautiful 3D printed materials I've ever seen in my life. You can expect a really incredible collaboration in the future. But also Jess Krause, Amanda Martini, two of my favorite humans to ever live on the planet. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening to this advertisement. Just want to make sure that the best people in the world get your merch, your business, get your attention, because it's a family, it's a pack, it's a unit, and we all take care of one another. Speaking of one another, Tori, where can everybody find you online?
You can find me at SM Tori. That's Tori with an I. TK, where can people find you?
You can find me at TK Elemental. Kevo, where can everybody find you?
You can find me at Kevo Really, Kevoreally. Jonah,
I was keeping it in the same frame for the end.
Mm-hmm.
You can find me places at Peak Journalist, Peak. Nico, where can we find you?
You can find me trying to figure out the order of things. But you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram, Nico Action, NICOACTION, Nico Action Music, NICOACTION MUSIC. You guys can, of course, check me out all over at X is for Show, X is for Podcast, and more. But as always, like, comment, subscribe, stay safe, be brave, evolve daily, never stop, and we'll see ya.